Hi, it's Wetherbee here. I'm gonna do a book review on The Omnivore's Dilemma by Michael Pollan. Um, Basically, what he does in this book is kind of follows the trail of the food as good as you can to 4 separate meals he eats. So he starts off with the typical fast food stuff today. He's going off on the corn industry and how they make all this excessive corn because the government pays them to, and then this corn gets used to feed cattle who are meant to eat grass. Kind of goes into the craziness of life as a cow in the meat industry, and follows it kind of to where it would be like sold to McDonald's and you go and buy your Happy Meal or whatever. Obviously he talks about a lot more stuff than just cows. He's talking about chickens and all kinds of stuff. So that's the first meal. The second one, he kind of shows the big, huge organic food industry, the mainstream one, the big one that serves thousands and thousands and millions of people. And he kind of follows all these different organic farms all the way to when they get to places like Whole Foods and whatnot, and buys a bunch of stuff from Whole Foods and then makes a meal. And then the third one, he goes to Joe Salatin's farm, and this one was cool. And this one is showing kind of like small, efficient, environmentally friendly, sustainable stuff where the animals feed the land and the land feeds the animals. It's a really, really cool thing. I think it's almost even better than nature because things were spread out so much. I mean, nature worked great, but nowadays with there being less vegetation and fewer animals, it's better than how the thinned out version of nature works at this time. If something crazy happened and all humanity was wiped out, nature would bounce back. That's what it does. But I love the way Joe Salatin's farm works. So he works on the farm and shows how he keeps moving the cows to different places so they don't overgraze anything, and how they're fertilizing stuff, and how 3 days after the cows are there, he'll put the chickens in the same spot and they'll break up all the cow stuff and put new fertilizers in there, and they're only there long enough that their nitrates help the grass instead of poison and overwhelm the grass. And it's just super, super cool. That's my favorite section of the book, the third one. And then on the fourth one, he basically does like hunter-gatherer stuff. So that's pretty cool. Like, he just goes and collects all these different mushrooms and stuff, and kind of wanders around and finds cherries and berries, and then he like goes hunting with a guy, like the wild pigs they have in Northern California. I remember seeing a lot of those the few times we went up there. They kind of like had some domestic pigs released back in the day, and they kind of breeded with some boar and made like little hybrids, but they're out in the wild and stuff. And during that part it was cool because you could kind of see him talking about old school primitive instincts coming back, where like you're more focused and your senses heighten. You pay more attention to the world around you, and how you're just super, super into what you're doing. Anybody who's ever been in the zone and found something that they really, really, really love that takes up all your attention, you just get lost in it. That's what it was like when he was hunting. It's probably the basis of where that type of focus and zone stuff comes from, so it's probably like the strongest version of it. It was all really, really interesting. I like the clinical nature of the book, where he's kind of like a super detached, like, objective journalist. Like, you could never leave yourself 100% and be 100% objective and stuff, but he does a really good job of it. And I like that, because most people are promoting their agendas, and so you get one side where people stay ignorant to what's going on because they love their meat and they love fitting in and being accepted by their loved ones and everything, and the convenience, everything about that works and has many reasons why you would go one way, and so you defend it by saying that's nature's way, yada yada. Then the other side is all like super ridiculous the other way, where you look at a bug wrong and you're like a wicked human. I don't know, it's like they take it way too far. It's just, nature's harsh and brutal, and we can't be overly civilized and ridiculously, insanely timid and kind to everything around us. I don't know, like, being that we're so successful as a species right now, we can make choices that are good, but I don't know, with this crazy nearly 7.3 billion population, I don't know what's possible and what isn't. Like, without all the fertilizers and stuff from all the animals, can we even grow all the plants we'd need to eat if we all went vegan? I'm not sure. It's something that would definitely be worth looking into. It's just, a root of so many of our problems has to do with how many of us there are. If there weren't so many of us, there's a lot of things that could work a lot better. But I really like the way Joel Salatin's stuff works. That was my favorite section of the book by far. But I think this book, even though I may not have kind of made it known in this video, is a really good book to read. I think it will make you think more about the food you eat, be more conscious of what you're eating, and not feel so overwhelmed, because there's always like 10 million diets out there, and so says such and such is great for you, and such over here says that this thing over there will kill you, and everyone's always saying everything about everything and then changing their mind, and it makes it really confusing when you're just trying to be a healthy human being and eat a diet that makes sense. So I like this book. I think it will give you a lot of insight, greater awareness of where food comes from, the energy and stuff put into creating this food, and I think it's just something really good for knowledge of that nature. So I highly recommend this book.